made a video. My bad. I need to like be more consistent. This has been crazy. I feel like I'm more busy with this quarantine than I am without it. Isn't that crazy to think that when you're stuck home you have like more time, but you really don't. Anyways, so I'm actually gonna be, so the video is a mukbang of my quarantine snacks. I didn't bring all of them out because, to be honest with you, I don't think it's gonna be a long video, and it's hard to eat and talk because it's rude. But so that if anybody knows about that public sushi, you know what's bomb. They didn't have good, the Publix that I live by, because I'm in a community. Inside that community is very small, but there is a Publix inside of it. And it's so tiny. They just recently got sushi. And don't think it's gross, because some people are like, ew, grocery store sushi. It's not like really grocery store sushi, just like their bakery. Publix makes their stuff fresh, so they have people who are trained to do sushi. That's simple. Anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna be answering questions also, because there was a lot of different questions that I got for different things, and they're kind of all over the place, so I'm gonna try to touch up on them, because I just figure, why not just answer questions, talk a little bit, you know what I'm saying, do a little bit of that. So one of the questions that I got was about my corrections officer stuff, because I get a lot of questions offline, and then when I ask people to ask me questions, it's like they're so scattered, they're like all over the place. So one of the questions is like, what's one of the craziest stories that I have ever had? I would say the craziest story that wasn't necessarily around me. So we were involved in an officer and inmate altercation before, not me personally, but we've had it happen. So I've gone to a couple of like code blue officers, and those are interesting, because I don't want to say with everybody, I'm only speaking for like people that you build a good rapport with a lot of the people that you work with. You guys are close, you're going through the same crud. I don't want to cuss, you know, but you're going through the same crud, and it's like y'all click. It's like the military kind of, you know, when you're going through the same suck, you click with people. You just know. You spend a lot of time, 12 hours, 5 days a week. It's a long time. So oh my goodness, you guys, that was so unexpected. I caught it, thank goodness. My stand fell, and it was because it's windy out here, so I'm trying to put it behind the pillar so the pillar catches most of the wind. But I went ahead and like lowered the stand to build more like weight, so it's not so thin and flimsy. To top it off, it has like a light at the top, so the light is like, it catches the wind easy, you know. Anyways, so yeah, you're in the suck with a lot of the people, so you build a close relationship with them. And yes, I'm sitting on my kid's bench. Don't judge. It was nice outside, quieter, because my dogs are gonna start crying if they hear me in the house, and you know, it's just nice. Okay, I wanted to have a little picnic out here with myself. I'm about to break this bench for real. Anyways, so I love these Izzies. So yeah, you build like a nice rapport with these people. So anyways, so you get really, you know, y'all get fired up when you see someone attacking them, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Not to say do anything wrong. The point of any law enforcement officer, you get trained this in school and people like to forget it, but the whole idea behind your job is, the number one thing you want to do is de-escalate situations. That is what we're trained to do, to de-escalate, not to escalate. Now, I'm only going off of what I know, what we were trained, and what I continue to follow as a law enforcement officer. I cannot speak for anybody else. I cannot speak for what other people choose to do, and I cannot agree with everybody's methods. But that's just me. Anyways, so now that we're back to this, Yeah, so the craziest story I would have to say would be in between, like, I already talked about it, like the crackhead story that I had happen to me, where the crackhead was just going crazy and I almost thought I was about to have a code blue. We was about to get into it. And then another situation I would have to say would be, I wasn't there. I actually came the next day. No, I came a couple weeks later because I stopped working in the jail per se, and I was doing weekenders. So I would take the people out to do cleanings. It's almost like community service, except a little bit different. So I did that, and I came back to go see one of my buddies, and he told me, I was asking him why there was bars. They had like a cage up on all the stairs. And I was like, yo, what happened? Why are they like that? And he told me that one of the inmates was just down in the outs, and he squatted on the top of the bars of the stairs and just fell forward and did like a swan dive right on his head, broke his neck on the ground, and he did not die. That was his intention, but it didn't happen. He actually died a very slow, miserable death. He was on machines, and then eventually he was declared brain dead. At that point, he was declared brain dead. That's when they pulled correction services from having to do watch on him in the hospital. And at that point, his family had to decide whether or not they were going to pull the plug. And I think they went ahead and pulled the plug. But yeah, that was the craziest thing that ever happened. And it changed a lot of protocols in our jail. And now we have cages surrounding our stairs. So that was the craziest thing. I'm sure there were crazier situations that I just can't remember or fathom. A lot of crazy stuff happens in the medical housing unit. I don't like to personally be down there, but for the females, it's broken up into 2 blocks. So unfortunately, if you're down in one of the female blocks, then you're with female MHU. So let me tell you, it's stressful. I feel for people that work in insane asylums or mental institutions or deal with a lot of mental health people, because there's so much going on with that. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of stuff to really understand what's going on in someone's head. And you know what? A lot of doctors can't even fathom to really understand it, because there's so much unknown about the brain. So I really feel for the people that do those kind of jobs, that work with those kind of people, and I commend them for it, because it's a hard job, let me tell you. Another thing, a question. So I guess somebody had asked me before about like life stories. I'm assuming just like wanting to know, just like some stories, questions. I like to like talk kind of about, I mean, maybe one day you guys will hear my life story. Maybe one day I'll do that as a video if you guys are really interested. But to be honest with you, it's very like, it's emotional. So I don't know, I'm not that emotional type of person, but you know, we all go through some stuff, and it makes you the character that you are and the person that you are. So you know what I'm saying. Let me eat this, because this is I don't want it to get I think my kids are here, so they're probably gonna want snacks and food. So if you see me hiccuping when I eat certain food, I'm speaking to a doctor, so I don't want to hear nobody say, "You talk to a doctor." I'm speaking to a doctor, but food gets stuck here. I have some stomach problems, so I gotta do a scope. It got, unfortunately, with Corona, it got held up, so who knows what's going on. I won't know for another few months, so I'm just gonna live life and eat and do me. You know what I'm saying? No one better tell me shit. I kind of want to eat these. Okay, though. So one time, I got the popcorn chips, these, but the spicy ones in a big bag. They were so mother effing hot, spicy as hell. Oh my god. I have a funny story for you guys. So, I have a lot of silly stories. You know, life is life. I'm gonna tell you one. I have a lot of weird animal stories. When I was a little girl, right? Maybe I already told that story. Well, I'm gonna tell it again. When I was a little girl, my aunt had a golden retriever named Ben. And my Mexican self said, "Why would you name a dog come here?" Ben de baca, Ben. No, anyways. So, you know, we were just, I will always joke about that. But his name is Ben. He was, you know, golden retrievers are great dogs, but let me tell you, he was a jerk. He wasn't a family man, you know. He loved us kids though. Let me tell you, we brought laughter to his life. And so one time I went on a walk with him and it was snowing outside, and you know this thing called black ice. I don't know if you know what it is, but it's really hard to see and it's super slippery. And there was a collection of black ice at the end of a driveway where I was walking, because you know when you're walking on a sidewalk, it dips into a driveway, continues just into a driveway. So one of the driveways had dipped down and I didn't notice it had black ice, so I slipped, flew in the air, landed on my back, knocked the air out of myself. I was literally dying. I could not breathe. And Ben, I had his leash in my hand, and he turns around, he looks at me, and he's like, "Sis, you good?" And he's walking over, and I'm thinking, that's some airbud shit for him to come back. And he comes back, looks me dead in my face, and snatches his leash out of my hand, and then walks his happy ass home. How rude. How rude. I will never forget that day. I literally watched him. He never once turned around. He only turned around to grab his leash and walk home, and you just see him strutting his stuff. And sure enough, and the garage door was open, so I limped all the way back to the house, and there he is standing at the door like, "Sis, let me in. We're not playing no games. It's negative 30 degrees. Get me in the house." Lord have mercy. I cannot with him. So yeah, another really funny story. I broke a lot of bones growing up, so I have a lot of like injury stories. So most of it results in me getting hurt. My brother was the center of a lot of these injuries, because you know when you're a younger sibling, when you're like the little one in the family, sometimes you do dumb stuff that your siblings convince you to do because they make it sound like it's a really smart idea when it's not. And I was a really stupid kid to top it off, so then I was just like, yeah, reckless, you know. So I did a lot of dumb stuff. I have a lot of friends and they could vouch for that. So anyways, yeah, I got hurt a lot. Those are a lot of the stories. Mine, you know, I can't with this quarantine no more, but let me tell you. I must be sleeping. But what was it? Okay. I got one. So I have so many. I'm gonna find an appropriate one. Oh my gosh, one time my brother gave me an atomic wedgie. Yes, you know, if you're really young, you might not know what that is, but back in the day, kids tortured each other by giving each other wedgies. That was a thing. So he gave me an atomic wedgie. That thing went boom. He gave me an atomic wedgie, and he ripped my underwear. Literally ripped it. It almost went over my head. Oh my gosh, I have so many funny stories. Me and my brother have a lot of inside jokes too. You know, when you're siblings, you got inside jokes. I won't tell you none of our inside jokes, but because that's some insider shit. But we have some crazy stories. Oh my god, that was so funny. When I was 4 years old, I ripped my 4 front teeth out of my mouth. 4 or 5. I was around my son's age, my oldest. And Mexicans, when they drink beer, they like to well, I don't know if any other Hispanic does it, but my tios used to do it. And they always would open the beer with their teeth, you know, in the back, pop it open. And when I was little, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I want to do that, you know, that's cool. So I grabbed the beer from the cooler and I went to open it, and I legit grabbed it like this, you know, in the front, like an idiot. I know, you don't gotta tell me. And I pulled it, and my 4 front teeth went flying across the entire apartment living room. And my cousin and my brother just looked at me. And when I saw my teeth on the floor, I started screaming. It was crazy. So that was pretty crazy. I was a foolish, you know, kid, you know what I'm saying? I dropped a knife on my foot one time. Yeah, I got a lot of silly stuff. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did a lot of embarrassing stuff. That's why when I got older, I really wasn't that embarrassed anymore, because, you know, after a while, you do so much embarrassing things that you just don't feel embarrassed anymore. Like that emotion, it's like, sis, yeah, that was me, and let me stop. I'm going a little quarantine crazy, y'all. I face planted in school one time chasing this kid, Ben. Oh, my homegirl knows what I'm talking about. We were playing tag, and I fell in a ditch. I fell in a ditch and I disappeared. That's how safe our playgrounds were one time. When I was a kid, we had the safest playground. We had sand. Now y'all got that rubber stuff. No, we had dirt. That was our playground. You ever been on a monkey bar and try to do some cool stuff and both your hands slip and you face plant? I did that in the middle of the playground. Face planted on my stomach like this. And when I did that, I'm gonna tell you, I was out of breath. The teacher had to physically pick me up like a little doll. I was like stuck like he picked me up and he put me on the bench. He didn't even put me in the clinic. His ass was like, bro, get out the way, kids are trying to play. And you know, at that same school, this one girl I used to hang out with, she was spinning me around one time super fast. Like, you ever had grabbed a kid like a hug type of, and then when you were kids, and then she did a hug, but she started spinning. So my feet was off the floor. I was like spinning. First of all, I was a little ass kid. Let me tell you, I flew because she let go. And we had this pavilion where you could jump rope, and it was on concrete that was like raised like this, so it was like a step up. I head swan dived. After she let go, I was like, I'm gonna hit my head on the side of the concrete slab, and I knocked out. I had a lot of concussions. That's another thing. Look, I never went to the hospital though, because you know, back in the days, my mom was like, yeah, I don't need a doctor, you're good, you know, brush it off or whatever. So the school never called the ambulance or nothing. So they picked me up And all I remember was the teacher. I remember opening my eyes, seeing someone carrying me like I was literally dead. And I think there was like, damn, now we gotta write an incident report. We got another dead kid on our hands. And I was like, I just remember opening and closing, opening and closing. I was out of it. I was in the nurse's office. She said I was good. She just said I had to go home. That was it. My mom came and picked me up and took me home. I didn't see no pediatrician. I didn't do, when my kids fell on their heads, I always brought them to the doctor, because you never know, you know, especially when it's really bad like that. Ugh, Lord have mercy. Not me, let me tell you. Yeah, I got hurt a lot. But, you know what? I don't want to take too long. This is supposed to be a mukbang, turn into a story. But this sex is bomb anyways, and y'all like to hear my stories, right? So I haven't done a mukbang in a minute, so why not, you know? Ain't no restaurants really open, so I wasn't gonna go buy nothing other than go to the grocery store, because I had a couple things I had to pick up for dinner. So I wanted some lunch. I had class today, y'all, and that's another video I'm gonna be making. I learned a lot of information about nutrition, about dogs, and I want to put it out there because this is like AVMA stuff. This is coming straight from the American Veterinary Association. This isn't coming from Maple Leaf. This is coming from a source of researchers and doctors that work together, and geneticists and all that stuff. People that, nutritionists, everybody that comes together, like all these doctors that work with animals. And they put the information that is important to teach. If your AVMA, your school is AVMA accredited, that's the association you fall under. Just like there's a medical health board that people fall under. Well, for vets, anybody who deals with this kind of environment, we deal with the AVMA, you know? So, anyways, thank you guys so much for being a part of my channel. I'm probably going to do a nutrition video next, or maybe finish some other stuff. I had somebody request me make cupcakes, so I'm probably going to do that this weekend if I have some time. It's been really hard because, like I said, everything's out of the grocery stores, and I'm really just trying to buy necessities. So I'll see if I have all the ingredients at home. And I'm probably going to push out my coconut oil dog treats. They're very good for their skin, they're very good for their hair, so I'll probably push that video out next because I already did the video. I just gotta edit it. Thank you guys so much for following me. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel, show support, and I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. You guys have an amazing day.